When I was about 2 or 3, my father had a beautiful Rolleiflex, one of those cameras that with 2 lenses and a flip-up viewfinder, and it was kept in my father's ironed white shirts, and I was not allowed to touch. But when my father used to go to work or went to work, my mother would allow me to use it. And I remember standing on a chair with the windows open and looking through the viewfinder to the outside, the street. And ever since it's fascinated me. And especially because with those type of cameras, everything is upside down. So the image that I was looking at was upside down, and I was a child of 2 or 3. And ever since I've been sort of hunting, feeling imagery. I try to include in all my images the passage of time, although it might not be apparent. I've got a series called Pilgrim, and the Pilgrim appears in several dark scenes. Same thing with Time Machine. The background gives an idea that time has changed. But no, there isn't a direct thought process. I don't use my head. My head does not come into it. Yeah. And some of them are very much influenced by music. Ariadne, for example. Ariadne is, I was influenced by a lyric from Asaf Avidian, an Israeli singer, where Ariadne, meaning the mythological woman who puts the thread for Theseus to go to the Minotaur and come back in the maze. In the image is, the maze is not outside, but the maze is in one's head, and the Minotaur is one's heart. And that's what that particular image is, which is downstairs. Throughout my life, I have been looking and seeing the world through my eyes.
You suggested that how big a photographer means for you, that you're always looking through the eye of the
Yeah. I was suggested many years when I was not a photographer to use my camera weekends, and I used to say you can't turn this visual world on and off. It takes time to get into. Unfortunately, one needs to use a very trite expression, to be in the zone. But yes, one is sort of in a state of visual mind, where wherever you are, you're looking and you're taking pictures. Ideally, one should have one's brain, one's eyes plugged to a visual gadget, so you're constantly taking pictures. But that's beyond. But I always look and I always see things, and I always carry my cameras as well.
Is there a thing you're looking for? Are you looking
for
something specific?
No. It's anything that catches my eye, be it color, shape, structure, pattern. And a lot of the times I take also close-ups and textures, because I use textures a lot. There are other photographers that do more or less the same thing I do, which is digital art. And what I find that they fail in is gather all the bits of images that they put in a frame, and they all look. It seems to me they look like they've been forced into a situation. Some of them use specific type of directional light, which ameliorates the situation. But what I use for amalgamating all the various images within the image, I use textures. So I'm very keen on collecting textures. Textures, yes, and colors, colorful textures or just patterns, which then are superimposed, and that gives the whole picture a unity, a coherence.
The colour is interesting, and it was interesting how you refer to these as the colour collection.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas the monochromes obviously are strong black and white.
Yeah. Again, I used to be very much a black and white person. I started being a photographer as a black and white photographer when digital did not exist. So I've been a lab technician for many years, and I was in charge of developing all black and white films for all the photographers. It gets to a point where you are sort of drunk with, or you appreciate, or you possibly overdo the color situation. And it's very good for me, for example, to periodically do a black and white set, because black and white is definitely an abstraction of everything, and all you are left with is a structure, a composition, and the subject itself. In Spanish, there's a good expression which is applicable from bullfighting. And in bullfighting, the matador will, the word fight is incorrect. The matador will lidiar. So lidiar has no English translation. But one dances with the black and white. One tackles the issue of black and white. I like lidiando with black and white, because it's not easy, it's harder.
Are you battling the images to get them right? Do you sometimes feel that you're fine?
No, I do not. When I take an image, I don't look at the back of my camera to see whether, no, because what my camera gives me is about 30% of what comes out at the end. Whatever I photograph has a serious post-processing time in the computer. My phrase is, it's not what I see, it's how I see it. So it is the how I see it that will forces me or inspires me or leads me to manipulate every single photograph. So the final product is not what my camera has given me. My camera has given me, it's a very good camera, has given me about 40 to 60% of all the landscapes that I take. Yeah. The rest is my own input. As I say, they have their own life now. My process of creation is an attempt of communication, and it's a solitary work, really. Creation is a solitary work, and you don't know how, when you present it to the public, how the public is going to react. So it is up to whoever's looking at them to use the same principle as, is not what I see, is how I see it.
Here's a thought. What are your thoughts on the position of photography as an art form among painting,
yes,
sculpture?
Traditionally, photography has always been one of the lesser arts.
Is that frustrating?
I don't know why that happens. I mean, all the countries like the United States, they do appreciate photography as a valued art form. I don't understand why photography is one of the lesser arts. Well, that's how it is. Some people use oil, some people use watercolors, some people use whatever. I use the chemistry and Photoshop. Instead of using oils, I'm using the palette.
It's refreshing how honest you are about your use of Photoshop. For some reason, a lot of artists, photographers don't want to, talk about that.
Yes.
Whole area.
Yes, but no, without Photoshop, I would be nobody. I'll be sitting down having cups of tea with other people that have nothing to do. And no, without Photoshop, without the elements, the palette that the digital world gives me is what I use. Because fortunately, I am a person of the 21st century. And what the 21st century gives you is this immense world of the digital world. Way back then, when you used to take black and white photographs, you only shot one picture, and you had to be 100% sure that what you shot was the picture you wanted. So that habit's still with me. I don't take 100 pictures of the same thing. No, I take one picture of whatever I'm looking at. And I don't look at the back of my camera whether that's come out what I wanted. No, because I know what I'm going to do with it when it comes out of the camera and gets into my computer. I am a fully fledged digital person. I have no qualms in saying, oh no, I don't use Photoshop. I use Photoshop. Totally, completely, always.